Alright, so today's video we're going to be watching a Gold 5 DPS on PC. Playing Ash and Symmetra in Hollywood. They say, hi, long-time YouTube watcher wondering how I can improve. This game was a draw. It felt like we got our butts kicked in the first round, and the second they were hardcore spawn camping. If I hadn't gone Sim, who I don't usually play, and backcap 2 ticks of the point, I don't think we would have tied. They had a Reaper-Brig duo flanking the entire game, wreaking havoc on my supports. I'm wondering what I could have done to sway this game more towards a win rather than a draw. Sounds like it was a rough game. What can be done to turn this game around? Well, we're about to find that one out. Here we go. You're set up on the high ground. This is totally fine. Just a bit of a note next time, and I'm gonna start right away with this one. I want you to think about what you did there with your you had the right idea, but why not like go backwards? I think you'll be fine if you do that. You'll probably survive it. Because the Reaper went up there just to try to take high ground control, and they got you off high ground. The point I'm making is, like, I think you could have just angled yourself a little bit better, and then stayed up there a little bit longer to get some of that value. It's, like, not the worst play, but I think, like, I just want to show where the Reaper ended up getting some value out of that. But, good start. What was the Brig doing? Apparently they play very aggressive. Don't be afraid to be up there with your team, because this is just, you know, your team's aggressive. If you wanted to go to show people, like, okay, in this type of situation when your teammate's playing close, you have two options. You can play aggressive, a little bit more risk reward, right? And the risk reward of that is that obviously if they kill any of you here, you lose a bit of an advantage, right? So the more aggressive, like, kind of playmaker play is going up here. If you want to play a bit more passive and you just don't like where your teammates are positioned, you can still go up here and play it kind of safe. So I just want to give you two kind of opportunities to recognize that you have options here. So you could push up aggressively and look for kills, or just stay up here and play it safe and be ready to go when they start to push your team back. Either or can work here. I would be probably playing up close, but we'll see how it goes. Good job getting the dynamite. Here it is. Pushing up with your team as you go. All correct so far. You always see teams off. Yeah, well, the teams will start strong and then they'll start pushing up the whole time. And the problem is that when you do this, right? Like, okay, this is a good time to talk about it. Okay, I want to talk about this. So, like, the mistake that your team's making here, and this is going to go for any rank, is that the more that you play right here over and over again, there's a good chance that eventually the team's going to get you and then just win the team fight, right? The reason why teams play a little bit further back after a certain point, it's okay to be up here. The moment they start to get contained is when you need to back away, right? And start to play slow back so that way, like, you can chip away at them, right? The idea is you chip away damage. You make it so they have to use a cooldown. But when teams play too aggressive, what ends up happening is exactly what you're seeing happens. You lose a teammate. They grind you back. I mean, now look where your Ana is. You think your Ana wants to be here in front of a Rhine? Like, look at your teammate's position. So that's why when you stay up here, it's good, but you need to know that when they're being aggressive, right? When they're being really, really, really aggressive here, and they start to take it back, that it's okay to back up. And that's where you buy time, and it's a cooldown game sometimes, right? Like, you get cooldowns out, they can't do anything. So, and if they keep pushing when they don't have any, you win the team fight. Instead, now your teammate's on their back foot a little bit. You know, you're out of position now, right? Because you're playing close up there. You've now used your disengage tool right in front of a Reaper and a Brig. And you're talking about how the Reaper Brig flanking are causing havoc on your backline? I'm gonna be real with you. That can still happen, but that was not a flank by the Reaper and the Brig. That was your team playing too aggressive. And that's the problem. Recognize they start to back up a little bit as the team gets closer. You don't need to sit there the whole time. That's what I'm saying. They're not flanking. They just ran right at him. There's nothing to flank. It's just they were just out of position. Yep. Take high ground. Reaper's right below you. It's a kill. Okay, so let's talk about this right here. You could go up on the elevator and play range against a Reaper, or you could try to outduel a Reaper in their strongest point. You're not disengaging these players. That's your problem. Is you're just playing in front of them. They're not flanking you. You're just standing there and they're running to you. Take the elevator up, go on high ground. Now you have a full vantage point. A huge vantage point on them right below you, right? All right, I'm ready. Okay, now they're flanking. Or not even flanking, they're just being aggressive. All right, this is definitely, yeah, that's definitely aggressive. All right, but that wouldn't be a good play by them. See, what they were doing right against you is they were timing it and going and grinding your team down. That was just a bad play. That's just being a bit too ambitious. But you know what? I've been there too. Sometimes you're just rolling and you limit test, right? And that's what they just did right there. Good job taking high ground. Remember, this is important. Behind you. Okay. Oh, yep. Didn't even look where you were going, but here you are. There's a Reaper behind you. You saw them teleporting. Yep. I got to admit, your ability to zoom in with somebody 1 foot in front of you is just something that even when I'm on Ashes, that could be a bit difficult for me at times. If they're like a half a foot in front of me. Okay, high ground. You stood there and you were just standing there. But I think high ground would be a better option for you. Reaper's on point. Yep, okay. First of all, excellent assist there by you to make sure that the Reaper got some good height there to make it even easier. I get the reaction, though. I probably have a very similar reaction. But here's my question. Let's go back a second, right? Let's rewind. I'm not going to rewind, but you know what I mean. First of all, why is that making like a surprised... Okay. I don't think it's a surprise that your team died there. You're playing the low ground. You had plenty of time in between that team fight. When there was nothing happening, you had plenty of time to go for high ground. You could even go to right here. But you stay in the low ground, and that's how your team loses that team fight. That's an issue where play to the strength of your hero. I don't want to see you on Ashe playing like you're playing Reaper, right? I always use that analogy with tanks, like, don't play a tank like you're playing a Reinhardt. Don't do this like play it like the hero itself. And on Ashe, you were playing like Reaper. And then when you had an opportunity to go on the high ground, what do? You stay in the low ground. What happens? A Reaper teleports in front of you, and you can't do anything. And then now, this is what happens. So, stop playing into the strength of the other hero and play to the strength of your hero. Okay. Ideally, your team should have taken the good spawn. It's good to recognize when you're not going to be able to cap the point, so you can take the safer spawn and then reset. Now your team's kind of stuck and everybody's all over the place. Yep. This is a very simple fix. If you cannot capture the point, always try to take the spawn with your team, so that way your approach is not your team getting caught on your back foot, basically getting stuck behind a wall, right? It's more about, like, you need to go and reset and then take your team fight. You basically ended up wasting, you end up wasting like a whole minute plus here on something as simple as don't run down the hallway. Take the good spawn. So Mei isn't a bad swap here on third point. Like, I don't think this is, with the way that they've been playing, it will interrupt them. But I think this is more of just the way that your team is disengaging and, like, the issue that's happening, right? Like, the real talk is that if your team was to start to just, like, reset when they need to, that Reaper and Brig wouldn't be constantly doing what they're doing in your backline. Yep, you're just chilling. Ice blocking on point. Glad you enjoy the stream. Let's go. So, yeah, just to make it very clear here. I'm not going to really analyze the third point of this because I feel like your team just got stuck. But this goes back to what I talked about earlier, okay? This all stemmed from your team not resetting, right? Everything that happened right there towards the end of this round was not because, like, you played Mei bad or because your tank played Reinhardt terribly or whatever. I forgot what your tank was on, to be honest with you. But point I'm making here, it wasn't because of any of that. What went wrong here for your team, at least in my opinion, is that you just didn't take the spawn, so you got snowballed, and that was that. Everything else that happens after that was just like, your team is not properly recognizing that when you win a team fight, you go set up, you reset, vice versa. So I think if you don't get snowballed there, I think you have a much better third point. Adrian, thanks for the 29 months to tier 1. Thank you, shit. Thank you.
Another month Lego emongg blankies.
Now, I want everybody here that's watching the video to see what happens if the blue team here ends up getting a kill on their aggressive play, right? Because look, at the same thing's happening here. They're playing aggressive, okay? Everybody here is aggressive. There's not one person who isn't. There's a Brig and a Reaper up here. So, let's see what happens, how they react, and then see if the same issue happens. But it depends if you kill the Rhine. It has to start with killing the Rhine first. If you don't kill the Rhine, this won't even matter. Right? Okay, this is the perfect timing. I'm going to pause because I need to talk about something here, because your team knows this now, right? Your team now knows the Reaper and the Brig exist behind in the backline. So I want to pause for a second to kind of show what the general reaction to this should be. Okay, you ready for this? I don't think your team should spend the whole time trying to kill the Brig and the Reaper. What your team should do is actually go and take advantage of the Rhine, the Soldier, and the Mercy that are here and get the kills. Now you go, well, can't the Reaper and the Brig flank? Well, yes, but you should have somebody paying attention to that as you go to be able to make the proper play, right? Or, for example, you're on Symmetra, and somebody in the chat just said it too. You could be like, okay, I have TP, let's TP pass. Next thing you know, you TP over here. Well, now the Brig, at the very least, is out of the team fight. Never mind the Reaper. So you could TP behind, you could TP above. You have plays you can make here. So I just want to point out that your teammates' reaction shouldn't be, let's go try and chase down the people behind here. Let's go up here and have a 5v3. That's what you would want to do in these situations, right? The team that comes up with the first decision of doing something together will probably have a better chance of winning. So if right now your team's reaction is to let's go and all go for the people like the Reaper and the Brig, then that's the play. But if your team is splitting like this, you're playing into the other team's value, strategy. So what you do, take all 5 of your teammates and teleport past. Go on high ground. Now you flip the map on them, and now you're basically playing defense, but also capturing the point, which means they're going to have to panic, go to the point, and then try to make plays. So anyway, let's see what happens. Okay, so the Lifeweaver chased the Reaper. So now you're down 1. Yep. And now your Widow, who also went up there, has died to the backline. Do you see what the problem was there? So instead of your teammates being on the same page, right? Your Lifeweaver and Widowmaker go chase a Reaper Brig on high ground, and your teammates aren't there to help you finish the kill. So this is where it needs to be a team effort, right? On getting the kill. I think that Rhine dies if your team just commits to that right away. Instead, your team split, and here you are. Yep. That's on you for just being impatient for a second on the Reaper. That's all I got. Take your time here. Take your time. You have a teleporter. No. Take your time. Okay, we gotta stop for a second. Listen, you have the right idea, but why are you doing this by yourself? Why are you going out the front door? Why not go out the left door? If you want to go teleport up here, look at this. Do you see this? There's a whole left door, right? So what I would like to see here is if you just rotate through the left door, you can do the same thing, and they're not even looking at you. Look at, you walked out the front door, and they're just sitting there like, hey, how you doing? Right idea, but like, go this way. They're good. Heck, I mean, if you want to, you can go this way too. No one's here. Teleport up there. Right? Let your teammates know to teleport too. Do it together. That's a window. Yes. Left door. Now, you're doing this solo, which is the problem. I think you could really benefit from getting your whole team here. Yeah, that's exactly why I keep saying do something together. Because this is the part where you say you go back and you backcap some of the the percentage and you don't think you get the point. But like if your team does this together, you probably just win the point. Right? Huh.
Such a lack of awareness.
My favorite part is that you have a Mercy on the other team being the only person to run back to the point. And what's been like, someone said it earlier, the key word here has been together, like going in together. That Mercy went to the point because, it makes sense to go back, but no one else did. And what happens? The Mercy doesn't touch the point, doesn't interrupt you from getting the play. And because they didn't do it together, the point I'm making here is you see where that Mercy kind of seemed out of position, right? And came back. That's what your team has been doing the whole time. How easy was it for you to get a kill there when somebody who wasn't like with their team as a core and you're like, okay, this is free. That's what your team was doing the whole other half. So that's why I was trying to really get in the mindset of like showing you like together, work together, reset together, make the proper decision making on that stuff, right? So it's like, it's just very interesting to see the, what happened there with the Mercy going back. Now, I would try to TP out of here. I would not try to wall this, but we'll see what happens. Okay, let's pause for a second. What is the Sim Wall going to do against a Reinhardt? If that was a Soldier 76, I mean, even Queen who can axe through that, I would have been okay with. That could have been a Zarya. It was a Reinhardt. One of the heroes that will not have to worry anything about the wall at that point, and you were down in numbers. Save your ultimate there. Go in after getting the 2 ticks and win the round, right? That's it. Good news is your teammates win the team fight anyway, and you get the point. So, yep. Oh, yeah. Always gotta do something together as a team. Yep. I think you win this. Okay, you got the point. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. That was a rough brig ult. That's why I got confused for a second. I'm like, this brig just ulted in front of everybody. In case you're wondering, if you're the brig in that situation, you have no reason to ult that. Yeah. So again, I want you to find. Actually, is there? This is actually no. I don't know if there's a. I have a question for people who play ranked. Does this happen a lot? Do we know? Like if you're in like gold, for example, do you find this happens a lot? No. Okay. I was just wondering. No. Okay. Because I was just watching this and I'm like, wouldn't the third spawn, like wouldn't the third doorway be helpful here? I was just thinking that, right? Like, because this doorway's here that leads you to the same funnel. This door funnels you here. Wouldn't like a third doorway back here make sense based off of how we see other spawns? Because if you have a third door here, you can rotate out and around. I just saw that. Yeah. That'd be the window doorway? Oh, true. Okay. Anyway, pushing the cart. I'm okay with this for now. You need a little bit of time. You just want a team fight when they're in your spawn doors. Okay. Ready? Now you need to think about where's next. This is the spot, right? And I'm gonna pause here because, like I said, I am getting a little bit more detailed, and I think it's helpful. Okay. You're in this spot right now. Cart's moving, right? This is where you're all at. Okay. The thing with Hollywood, though, and then whether it's in bronze or top 500, okay, is there's more to the map than just this cart. And what I'm saying here is that I think you need to set up your teammates on a high ground, right? And whether you're in voice, whether you're not in voice, etc., that you don't even have to worry about that. I find that sometimes if you just put a TP somewhere, people will take the TP. I do it sometimes. I take a TP. I'm like, I think it's going to be good. So don't be afraid to throw a TP up on like the high ground up here to give your teammates a better vantage point. Don't even need to like let them know what's happening. Just give yourself opportunity and throw that. But the last thing you want to do is stand on the cart AFK. It makes sense to a little bit. That's why I said I'm okay with it. Then when I said, okay, it's been enough time in, you need to recognize it's not going to matter that you have 3 on the cart right now if you lose the team fight. Now, you probably win the team fight and all this isn't, is what it is, right? But what I want to point out here is that sometimes it's okay to get off the cart, have one person push it, which in this case, actually, you would push your whole... What you would do is TP your team up onto high ground and push the cart. If they go for you, right? Say you teleport up top, up here. Say, like, I'm just going to give you somewhere safe, right? Like, say up here, okay? Say that your teammates take the teleport, you're on cart by yourself, and they start to shoot your teleporter and look at you. Well, then you take your TP, and now you're safe, and then you can make a decision then. That's what I'm trying to show you here, is like, you can get your teammates set up, push the cart, and then get off the cart to make it like a 5v4 from the high ground, and then you can push the cart after you win the next team fight. Again, I don't think that will happen here, but I want to get you out of the mindset of just standing AFK on the cart. Yep. You're not even right-clicking right now. Like, right-click. Get some right-clicks out. There you go. So the Reaper is clearly going for an ultimate and your reactions to stay within range. Why not try to throw a TP out right there? Like, that Reaper's play was very obvious. If they don't ult, you get away from them, right? You're going to fall over a lot. This is a good TP. Let's get your teammates across. Nice job. If your teammates decide not to take it, that's on your teammates. I'm on fire. Yeah, I was going to say, that Reaper clearly heard you. Yep, and there it is. Okay, again, you had every opportunity to set up some turrets here and get a free kill, okay? I get trying to backcap it. I do this sometimes. But when your teammates are pushed up right here, Okay, let me ask you this question. Actually, let's rewind a second here and bring this back. You mentioned that the Reaper and the Brig are always flanking, causing a ruckus on your backline. Been frustrating for your team. The Reaper Brig are just making it hard for the team. Their Reaper and Brig are being proactive in the backline going for kills. And you're flanking behind them in a situation where you have a 5v4 now, or the Reaper's out of the team fight. It's like kind of like a 5v4, almost 5v5. And rather than get a kill or set up a TP, like basically have a TP set up after you get there, and then go for a kill, you stand there, get killed, and now your teammates are at a disadvantage. The point I'm making here is if your teammates have this much map control where they're standing right here, and you're right here, you have now effectively flanked correctly, and you basically have pincered them, right? Or whatever that word is, right? You have basically flanked them and set up for a perfect play. Your reaction? Sit on the cart and hope they forget about it. Go for a kill there. Set up some turrets. Go back and forth. Be annoying in their backline. That is the last thing you want to do in that situation. So try to do that next time and you'll see a lot more value. No drops right now. Next set of drops will be next week for mid-season patch. So we'll have a... So obviously if you're watching this too, we're going to have drops, yeah. Very... I was going to say ambitious res by Mercy, but it worked. There's something satisfying about watching a sim hold left click on a Rhine shield. Good clutch here. Good sim turrets in the doorway, by the way. That was an important part to this. Nice job. And then you get the team fight. Yep. Nice. A suggestion why you want to use beam, drop some turrets behind them? Yeah, that could work. Yeah, drop a beam behind them, like with turrets. I think the turrets are like right there. They felt like it was a good spot to like for when they came out of the doorway, so I was okay with that. Now you're just sitting here holding left click on a Rhine. Everything's fine. Don't be afraid to use your TP. Set your teammates up. If you were to say, hey, would it be a good idea to TP behind them right now? Yes. If you wanted the TP, do it. Why not? Alright, I'm not going to say anything about that exchange with Reaper because that Reaper gave you the benefit of the doubt earlier when you were standing AFK in the cart. So, that was getting even with the Reaper, right? Okay? And I like how you actually finished just at the end there with just enough time to get another attack here. That's pretty sweet. Okay, here we go. You went out the left door, and you TP up the... Good start. Good adjustment, too. Did anybody join you? Doesn't seem like it. Oh, I like that perk you went with, by the way. The teleport, like, heal one or whatever it is. That one's fun. You said the misposition on the ult? Yeah, the ult was a little bit off. Maybe I should have looked over that too much. This is a unique situation where I'm actually okay with you taking the 1v1. I actually think the problem you ran into here in the 1v1 was that, like, you almost were too afraid to engage the Genji. Like, remember that, like, you have a lot of HP there. And, like, I think you can take the fight to Genji there, not the Genji take the fight to you. And I felt like you let them just basically put you on your back foot there. I'm telling you right now, that Genji goes after you, you throw 3 turrets in here, and you start going, holding your left click. I think you win that team fight. At the very least, you give yourself a better chance. I mean, heck, if your teleport heals you, right? If I'm correct, you have the heal teleport, right? Or you have the one that, like, attaches to you, right? So, like, why wouldn't you use the teleporter there, too? Yeah, it's right there. You can see it. See? Think about using the teleporter there, too. Like, you had so much opportunity to win that 1v1, so I wanted to show it where you had that opportunity. So, set the tone. Yep, you just forgot to tap the point. Don't know if it would have made a difference, but hey, it definitely could have helped. Team's playing close in the choke again, which is fine from the beginning. I'm not worried about that. There it is. I'm okay with you playing close. I want you to remember your TP is a big part of your kit, too. Okay, that's... I'm just going to pause right now, because you play here, right here. See right here? Play right here. So why do you play here? I'm going to show you why. You're creating an off angle, right? They have to worry about your Symmetra here, they have to worry about your teammates here, and they have to worry about you right here. Okay, you go, what if they push you? That's why you set up a teleporter. You have a teleporter set up for here so that they push you. You can basically end up behind your team, and vice versa. If your teammates are getting pushed, you have an escape route for them. Not that they'll take it, but you give them opportunity. You also have the option to rotate backwards into not necessarily the safest spot for your team, but a lot of cover to where you can still win a team fight. Instead, you run it straight down middle here into the middle of the point. Use what you have kit-wise. I know you say you didn't play Sim, which is why we're giving you a lot of advice on what we're seeing, but remember, playing angles and setting up around corners like that is huge. It can go a long way. Especially with having a Torb now, too, like the Torb Sim comp, you could create so many frustration points to the other team that they're never going to get the point. Right? You don't need to engage the Reaper there. You saw the Reaper go there, right? This is a little bit different. The Genji 1v1 makes sense. The Reaper, a little bit different. You need to play that angle a little bit smarter. Maybe right-click a couple times beforehand. Things like that, right? When you play against a hero, know the strengths, know the weaknesses. Reaper, the strength is playing very up close to you. Genji, not so much. Genji wants to play up close to you, but against a Sim, it's 50-50. You know? Yep. Good job by your Torb. Again, that's a good Sim turret, because if they go out of the hallway, that's good. I like that. As I'm saying, the right click, you have plenty of opportunity. Stop playing into the Reaper is what I'm trying to get you away from. All right, doing some moves. There you go. Nice wall. Good wall. If they go past that, they get rolled, and your teammates still have follow-up damage. That was a great wall choice. Nice job. What is this rank gold? Reaper's going in. Nice, and you play distance. That's what I'm trying to get you to do. You still managed to walk towards them, but that's better. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Like, don't play into the strength of Reaper. Play into the strength of Symmetra. That's what you're playing. Right? Gonna get a good kill here. You turn your back a lot, I want you to think about cover. And there you go, you drew. So, yeah, you have a lot to work on, but we kind of went through it a little bit more in depth now, so hopefully that's very helpful to you and, like, seeing where you could have went differently. Just remember, work together. I'm telling you right now, you work together with your team in those situations, it's going to go a lot better. Even if you're not working together, stop playing into the strength. I'm telling you, you keep playing into the strength of those heroes, you're going to keep giving them value. Adjust that, you're going to have a good time. You got this, all right? Like the video? Make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't. Leave a comment. All of it helps. And if you want to submit this, my Discord is where you do that for Spectating. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to watch another Spectating or other videos we have, click the little box right there. You'll see it. Hope you have an amazing day / night.